Shopping with Ashley, she texted, and my stomach twisted before my brain could explain why. There was nothing strange about it. Emily and Ashley went shopping all the time, but that morning she'd left wearing the perfume she only used when we went out together. Not her usual one, the light floral kind, but the deep amber one that clung to her neck like a secret. I stared at the message on my phone longer than any husband should. Then without thinking I typed, "Tell Mark I said hi." I hit send before I could stop myself. The dots appeared, disappeared. Then nothing. No, what are you talking about? Or who's Mark? Just silence. 15 minutes passed. 20. My chest felt tight like I'd inhaled something sharp. I wasn't even sure what I meant by that text. Mark was Ashley's husband. But something about the timing, the sudden need to name him, came from a place in me I didn't even know existed. A place that had been quietly collecting doubts I'd refused to unpack. Emily and I had been married for 9 years. We were good. Not perfect, not exciting like in the movies, but solid. Or so I thought. We'd survived the small things, job stress, money worries, family drama. But over the past few months, she'd grown distant in ways that didn't look like distance, if that makes sense. She'd hug me, but her arms felt measured. She'd laugh, but her eyes would glance past me. When I'd ask if everything was okay, she'd smile and say, "You worry too much." I told myself it was just life, people drift, stress happens. But when her phone started living face down on the table, when she started staying late at meetings, when she came home smelling faintly of aftershave that wasn't mine, I started keeping quiet instead of asking. Because sometimes silence feels safer than an answer you can't unhear. That day, after my message, the silence stretched into hours. I paced the kitchen. Every sound from outside made my heart jerk. Was that her car? The clock mocked me. I checked her location once, feeling guilty for even knowing how. It said off. Of course it was off. She used to joke that she'd die before running out of battery, but suddenly her phone was always dying. At 6:47 p.m., I heard the key in the lock. She stepped in, sunglasses still on though the sun was nearly gone. Her face was pale, lips trembling slightly. She didn't even take off her shoes before blurting, "Why would you say that?" Her voice cracked like a whip. I stared at her. "Say what?" "That text," she said, holding up her phone. "Tell Mark I said hi." What is that supposed to mean? I wanted to laugh or shout, or both. "It means exactly what it says," I replied. She blinked, eyes darting away. "Are you accusing me of something?" I didn't answer. Instead, I asked softly, "Were you with Ashley?" The pause was microscopic, but it was there like a skipped heartbeat. Then she forced a scoff. "Of course I was. Who else would I be with?" I didn't have to say it. Her eyes did all the talking. She dropped her bag on the table. "You're being ridiculous," she said, but her voice wavered. "Am I?" I asked. "Then show me. Let's call Ashley right now." Put her on speaker. Her hands trembled as she reached into her purse, then froze halfway. She looked at me, and that's when I knew. You can tell when the person you love is about to lie, because their face becomes a battlefield between the truth and what they wish it was. "Please don't do this," she whispered. And just like that, everything broke. I sat down. My knees couldn't hold me anymore. "How long?" I asked. Tears filled her eyes, and I hated that part of me still wanted to comfort her. "It's not what you think," she said. "It never is," I muttered. She sat across from me, hands shaking. "It happened once," she said quickly, like ripping off a bandage. "It wasn't planned. I don't know, lonely. You've been so busy with work, and I felt invisible." I let the words hang there, heavy and foreign. Once. That word can destroy a man. Once means it was enough to undo years of trust, to turn love into suspicion overnight. "With Mark?" I asked quietly. She nodded, and something inside me went cold. Mark, Ashley's husband. The guy I played golf with last summer. The guy who helped me move a couch into our living room. My laugh came out jagged. "So, the two of you what? Just swapped partners behind our backs like some sick social experiment?" Her tears spilled over. "No, God, no. Ashley doesn't know. No one knows. It was a mistake." I stood up, pacing. "A mistake is forgetting your anniversary, Emily. Sleeping with someone's husband is a choice." She covered her face. "I'm sorry," she sobbed. "It's over." It was months ago. It meant nothing. I wanted to scream, to throw something, to rewind time to before that text. Instead, I sank into the chair and whispered. It meant everything to me. For a long while we just sat there, the sound of her crying mixing with the tick of the kitchen clock. 9 years of shared mornings, jokes, quiet touches. They all felt counterfeit now, tainted by a truth that didn't belong in the home we built together. When she finally stopped crying, she said, "Please, can we move past this? I'll do anything. Therapy, counseling, whatever it takes. I love you." The words hit me like glass. I love you. People say that like it's a cure, but sometimes it's the knife. I looked at her, really looked. And for the first time I didn't see my wife. I saw someone who'd already left, even if she was still sitting there. That night, she slept in the guest room. I lay awake staring at the ceiling, hearing every creak of the floorboards, every muffled sob through the wall. I replayed everything, her sudden interest in girls' nights. The new clothes, the way she'd smile at her phone. The truth had always been there, scattered in small moments I refused to connect. The next morning, she tried to make breakfast like nothing had changed. I watched her hands tremble as she flipped pancakes. "You don't have to do that," I said. She bit her lip. "I just want things to feel normal." "Normal died yesterday," I replied. Her eyes filled again. "Please don't end us over one mistake." "One mistake," I repeated. "Emily, I trusted you with my entire life. You don't just break something like that once and fix it with tears." I left the house after that. Drove aimlessly. Ended up at a park we used to visit when we first dated. I sat on a bench watching families, couples, kids laughing. I used to picture us here, older, still teasing each other about who'd forget the car keys. But that vision felt foreign now, like something that belonged to a stranger. When I finally went home that evening, she was gone. There was a note on the table. "I'm sorry. I'll stay at my sister's for now. Please don't give up on me." I didn't tear it up. I didn't text her back. I just sat there in the quiet, staring at her handwriting. Curved, neat, familiar. And realized how something so personal could suddenly feel like a message from a ghost. It's been weeks since then. We've talked mostly through lawyers now. She wants to meet, to explain again, to rebuild. But I don't think I can. I've learned something I never wanted to learn. Love doesn't disappear when someone betrays you. It lingers like smoke after a fire, choking you, reminding you of what used to burn bright. Sometimes I still catch myself reaching for my phone, wanting to text her, to ask if she's okay. But then I remember that one moment, her standing in our doorway, eyes full of guilt, and me realizing the woman I loved was someone I didn't know. So now when people ask what happened, I just say, she went shopping with Ashley. Because that's where it ended. With one text, one lie, and one truth I'll never unsee. And the hardest part isn't that she cheated. It's that, for a second, I almost wished I hadn't sent that message, because knowing the truth hurts more than believing the lie ever did.